Over the last 3.5 years, I have slowly been working my way towards becoming a sharp sports bettor. But before that, I was your classic weekend warrior degen bettor. Head over to my buddy's house to watch the game. Maybe 15, 20 minutes before the game starts. All right, boys, what we cooking up? What do we like? Maybe put together a 3-pick slip, a 5-pick slip. Yo, let's put that lotto slip together, that 10-leg. I'm putting in my 2 weeks notice of my job tomorrow because this slip's cashing today. But what happened? Weekend after weekend, I followed the same exact process and watched my money fly out the door. And I thought to myself, how does anyone make money sports betting? But in September of last year, I started to implement a parlay betting strategy that I'm going to share with you in this video. And I made over $9,000 in 1 month. And then from October to December, I tacked on another $4,000 in profit. That's just under $14,000 in profit in 4 months betting on parlays. So how was I able to go from being absolute dog shit betting on parlays to being so profitable? So I'm not only going to share with you my recipe for success in building these parlays and the tools that I like to utilize, but then also how much money you should be placing, whether it's a 2-leg parlay or a 6-leg parlay, because you should put down different amounts based off of what type of parlay you're building. Let's dive into a real example where I put my money where my mouth is and build a 3-leg parlay utilizing one of my favorite tools. One of my favorite ways to build parlays is using OddsJam's positive expected value tool. Guys, linked in the description will be a 1-week free trial to OddsJam, and then use my code Billy35 to save yourself 35% off your first month after the trial ends. The main objective of this tool is to search and scan the hundreds of thousands of different odds between the sports books and show us the handful of opportunities where the books are really misaligned or mispriced. So for Daniel Gafford, under 9.5 rebounds in this Mavericks Celtics game, we can see over at DraftKings, we're getting this at minus 105 odds. So think about this like purchasing a stock. A very sharp sports book like Pinnacle thinks that the under 9.5 should be priced at $147. FanDuel thinks it should be at $120, but we're getting this for $105, so this is massive value. So one of my favorite things to do is come over here to the filters section, right? We're going to come over here to sports books. Maybe I just have too many sports books selected. I'm going to clear out everything, and maybe I just want to focus on Caesars at the moment. Now my odds range here, minimum odds, minus 150, maximum odds, plus 130. It's just a range that I really like to utilize to attack the plays when building my parlays, and at least a minimum of a 3% edge. So when we're talking about the wide gap between these books on Kawhi Leonard over 5.5 rebounds, we want a massive gap between maybe Pinnacle and Caesars. So utilizing the one-click bet feature is going to be how we're going to utilize building this parlay. We could see between Kawhi, Eastern Kentucky, and maybe the first period total goals on the Leafs and the Kraken. We want to build ourselves a 3-leg parlay. All 3 of these plays have some type of EV edge on their own. And so when we're taking, let's say, the all-star plays from each one of these games, that's how we're going to build the successful recipe for our parlays. We go ahead and click the one-click bet feature right here. It's going to automatically pull the play up for us right here. Something else that I love to do is click on to the specific play with this Leafs Kraken game, and then over here on the left-hand side, click Add to Parlay. I scroll back up to the top, and in the top right-hand corner, we can see that here are my 3 plays here at the moment. Now, as I mentioned before, with a 3-leg parlay, I like to go maybe 0.75%. Maybe if you want to go to a half of percentage of your bankroll on this play. But over here at Caesars, we're getting this paid out at plus 731 odds, which on a $100 wager is $99 more than the next best price, which is at DraftKings. This is why utilizing a software like OddsJam, look at the difference in the price between Caesars and DraftKings than the next best book, which is BetMGM. Another reason that I utilize this is now that I have all 3 plays added, I want to make sure that this plus 731, I want to make sure this is what I'm actually receiving over at Caesars, and I am. So then to go ahead and put $100 on this play, I know I'm receiving the best price possible over at Caesars compared to any other sports book. I go ahead and add this parlay to my bet tracker right here. Now I have everything tracked in one convenient place, as OddsJam's bet tracker is 100% free. So the first tip that really changed my journey around when betting on parlays successfully was I was ruthlessly line shopping, finding the best price possible. As you can see in those examples with Kawhi Leonard, it wasn't just a few cents off. It wasn't like FanDuel was at minus 111 and I was getting this at minus 109 at Caesars. No, there was a significant gap between FanDuel and Pinnacle compared to that Caesars play with Kawhi. The second tip is, over the last 3.5 years, I have fully accepted that I am not smarter than the sports books. These books are making millions off of the casuals. So Utilizing a strategy like positive expected value betting, when you can find plays that have an edge on their own and parlay them together, that compounds your returns exponentially. Now, the third tip is that you're going to deal with a bit more variance when it comes to parlays, right? If we would have just placed all three of those wagers as single or straight bets, that's a much more conservative approach. But with parlay betting, well, it's difficult because we need all those legs to hit in order to turn some type of profit. So that's why my wager size is a bit less, because I understand the difficulty has increased. And understanding with that variance that there's going to be a lot of turbulence. There's no better example than my November. I made over $1,300 in the month of November betting on parlays, but as you can see, halfway through the month, I was down $2,600. We're in for some massive valleys, and then we hit the peak, right? Now, something else is I was making a massive mistake between the first 8 months of 2024. I was placing 3 to 5 parlays the entire month. Well, your boy started to put in some work every single day with parlays, adding 3 to 5 a day. Now, for my overall betting portfolio activity, parlays make up at most 10% of my activity. So I want some exposure to parlays because they are truly gasoline on a fire. They can really boost your bottom line if you can hit on a few of these in a given month. Another tool that I love to utilize is DGF's AI slip generator right here. So as we scroll down, the beauty about this tool is you can just select the sports books, whether it's any DFS fantasy sites or maybe Prize Picks or Underdog. And what this tool is going to do is just automatically tell you the best plays and the slips right here. It's going to show you that you have about a 13.5% EV edge, and it just does all the work for you. You don't have to go ahead and find these plays or pick them on your own. So maybe, I don't know, for this example, maybe I just have a Rebet Prop City account, right? Now, I'm already quite limited on Rebet as is. So I can also utilize different offshore sports books if I wanted to cook up some of these slips. I've already placed some parlays here with these two slips. We see an opportunity right here for maybe Curry, Hayes, Şengün for a 6-leg parlay, but I've already have a parlay with Şengün and Scoot Henderson on a different slip, so I don't want to include this on that slip. So what I'm going to do is just scroll down here, and I'm actually going to go after this Dylan Brooks and Aaron Nesmith play. Both of these little over 3.5% edge, which is very exciting to me, and it's a 2-leg parlay. There's various different offshore sports books like BetDSI where I can go ahead and cook up this slip. Now, both of these plays are off by just 1 cent. Brooks should be at minus 129. We're getting it at minus 130. Nesmith should be at minus 169. We're getting this at minus 170. I'm totally fine with that. Again, this 2-leg parlay is plus 181 odds. This is my favorite type of parlay to cook up. I'm going to go ahead and wager $200 on this play because I have a lot of confidence in these are both juicy favorites. Both plays have some type of edge in the sports betting market. We're getting a great price, and this is the most conservative type of parlay to build out of all of them. So we lock this in for $200 on this 2-leg parlay. And that's the one thing that most sports bettors don't know is with Rebet Prop City, there's a lot of offshore sports books that you can utilize to find the same exact player props like a Bovada or maybe a MyBookie. And in this case, we go ahead and attack BetDSI. So I have a number of different options because I utilize offshore sports books into my parlay betting strategy. And the DGF AI slip generator makes life very simple. I just choose the books that I have accounts with, and then it automatically creates the slip for me. If you want to try the AI slip generator for yourself, it'll be linked in the description below. If you found value in the content thus far, make sure to smash that subscribe button, tap that thumbs up button, and also tap that bell notification so you don't miss the next video that we release. So I've shown you a couple of different examples of utilizing my favorite tools to build parlays, but how much money should you put on these parlays? So what you first need to figure out is how much money do you have set aside for sports betting? What's your bankroll? Then figure out what's 1% of that number. That's the maximum that I like to place on parlays, and specifically for 2- and 3-leg parlays, I will put 0.75 to 1% of my sports betting bankroll on parlays. Now, when we hit that 4- and 5-leg parlay range, that's where I typically stick with a 0.5% of my bankroll. Anything that's 6, 7, 10, 15-leg parlays and beyond, I usually go up to 0.25%. If you want to mix this up though a little bit, go between 0.25% to maybe 0.35 to 0.4%. I'm totally fine with that. But the idea is, as we continuously add legs to these parlays, Well, yeah, the payout's going to be a lot higher, but the difficulty is increased exponentially. So we want to have some exposure, but we don't want to be overly exposed because that's how you can run the risk of ruining your bankroll. For myself, I have a steady diet of 2 and 3 leg parlays. So if you look at my entire parlay betting activity throughout the entire month, over 75% live in that 2 or 3 leg range. If you're someone that likes to wager on 6 and 7 leg parlays consistently, understand you're going to lose a lot of them, but you only have to hit on a few to turn a big profit. And that's kind of the other side that doesn't get talked about a lot, is if you do place a lot of parlays, well, the mental side of it can really grind away at you, seeing loss after loss after loss, and you're thinking to yourself, what am I doing wrong? What's going on? You're not. It's just you're dealing with that variance at the moment. Stick to finding plays with an edge. That is going to be the recipe for success long-term as a parlay bettor. With the parlays that we cooked up, a solid amount of these plays live in the player prop range. And if you're someone that loves to target player props, you need to check out this video where I provide you my most successful player prop betting markets and with what books. Click this video right here that's going to walk you through exactly the sports betting markets that we focus on for player props and the books with the odds range. It's a step-by-step tutorial, a recipe for success so that you can start profiting big off of these sports books.